In this course, we're going to be learning about DOM, and I will tell you what that is in a sec. So this is the fourth course of our series of building websites, basically starting from the beginning to the end of learning how to build websites. So if I go to the channel here, you see we already have a complete HTML course, we have CSS course, we have JavaScript Essential. This course is a prerequisite for this one we're going to be learning now, because we use a lot of JavaScript stuff. So if you're not familiar with JavaScript, or if you have used it a long time ago but forget it, I would highly recommend kind of going back there and looking at JavaScript and then coming to this course. So what's DOM? Let's get started. So when we have a website like this, a browser calls this a window. So this is a window, right? I could open another window, and these two windows are completely independent, which means they don't share anything. So you could go on, what you have in this window and this window are different processes. They don't share anything. So I am gonna open up the inspect to kind of show you a little bit more. So as you can see, here is our HTML code, if you would say it, right? This is where our HTML code is. Also, we have some CSS there. The DOM means it's a representation. So DOM stands for Document Object Model. And what that means is everything in the browser you see can be represented as objects in an object-oriented kind of way. So if you have seen, if you know what object is, that's great. If you don't know, an object, basically object is a representation of something. So you could create an object, for example, we could create, let's say, class cat, like car would be an object, and there's a class, but you would create a class from an object. But let's say you could have some properties. So you could have like name, right? So name of the cat. You could have the age of the cat, right? These things are called properties of the object. So every object has some properties that differentiate it from other objects. And then you could have some methods, because you could say meow, right? So that is an action. Think of this an action. A cat could say meow, a cat could eat. So you can say, that's kind of big. Let's see, yep. You can say eat, right? That would be another action a cat does. So this is basically what object is. It's an entity, kind of think of it, which has some properties and some actions. That's what object is. So everything, as I said, everything in the browser can be represented as an object. So what this means is the window that I talked about, this whole window is its own window object. So if I type here window, as you can see here, we get this object, boom. These are all methods: previews, alert, adapt, like blur. You could have all this cancel, but we also have some properties like closed, which is false because the Windows open is not closed. So DOM, which is more specific than this. So window gives us a lot of different things. One of the things that window gives us is, of course, it gives us, so if I go to window, I can go to document now, right? Like, look at this. When I say document, you see the document is being highlighted. I don't know if you can see this. Let me just make this bigger. Okay, cool. So you see the document, as soon as I say document here, the document is being highlighted. So the window is giving me access to the document. Then that's where DOM comes from. DOM is the object-oriented representation of the document. So it's a way to select a different thing in the document, interact with the document using a scripting language, where most commonly it's JavaScript, but you could use Python or things like that. In this course, we'll be using JavaScript too, since that's kind of the most popular. So that's all DOM is. DOM is basically an API, or application programming interface. Is a way to talk to the document. So for example, now if I just type document here, since we're using the window and we're inside the window, we don't have to say window document to get the document, right? So this gives us the document. That's great. You can open the document. You can see the heading, right? We have body here, but you don't necessarily have to say that. You can just say document. And since we're already in the window, it just recognizes. So it's just easier way of doing this. And if we open this, you see the string representation, or how these are styles. You see how it's written in our HTML file. but we want to see it as an object, right? We said DOM, which means basically document, see, document object model, right? We said that's what DOM is. So we want to see the objective version of the document that we're looking at right now. And to do that, we could actually console log dir, and then if I just say document, boom, you see the document as an object. And as I talked about before, let me just make this bigger, boom. As I talked about it, you can see the location, right? These are the properties. Active element, the body is active element, right? You could see we have anchors, we have body, right? You could, the characters we use, you can like literally scroll down and see a ton of things about it. The document URL, right? You can see the domain, the foreground color, the fonts we used, the full screen, false, right? Because we divided up the screen. Is the document hidden? No. So you can see, right? It's connected last child. You can see the object representation of this document. We have way more information about object as API. The really cool thing about this is we can interact with different elements. We will go down and learn a little bit more later, but I want to give you a glimpse of the things we will be able to do. So, for example, we could do document, say, we could get basic. So if you go to our HTML, so if I just say document, and if you go to the body, and I want to go to this section A. So you see we have this section 1 ID, which is the text area and basically a button. Now we can select that div using something called, we will learn more about, so don't worry about it right now, but we could do that. So we could say, right, const section 1, and it's going to be document dot get element by ID, and then I'm just going to say section 1, and I will show you how it's being used. Now if I say section 1, boom, now you see I using the document, I get access to that div. So this is the div right now, this is the div we have. But to be really cool, I'm just gonna erase it right now, but we still have the section, right? We still have section 1. To make it really cool, we can not only get access to specific things on the document, but we can do some actions. We can change the style, for example. So let's go section 1, and I'm just gonna say style. I'm just gonna say background color. I'm gonna change, and I want to change it to yellow. Boom. As you can see, the background color is yellow now. Isn't that crazy? And if you could look at here, this is the object I was talking about, right? Because we are in the section, we get to the styles version of the section, and then we can change any style we want, including making background color yellow. And as you can see, the background color, this is not written. This is actually a CSS property, right? But it's not written as CSS. It's written as, basically when you're writing in JavaScript, you can have like spaces, or like you can't do, for example, like the things that we would do, right? Like you can do that, which is how background color is written in CSS. So basically you make it kind of, let's see, yeah, color, yep, you kind of make it like that. So I could say this is gold, right? But it could do crazy things. Another thing that I could do is I could go here and go to styles and make the display none. See if that works. Boom, it's gone. So you see, I could remove things from the document. Not only that, but I can actually add things to the document. I could copy things, I could clone things. We'll learn all of it later. Just gonna refresh this window a sec. So that is the power that it gives you. And this is where the dynamic thing comes from. Because once you can change things in the page as freely as you want, then you can be way more flexible. And if we go to our, I want to go to here. Now I want to show you something really cool. Now this page works, right? This is a dynamic website that we just wrote, that I wrote, and I want to give you a glimpse of what it looks like, what it does. So if you go to, like, let's say, so let's just go to this website, and let's just say this one. I need the text, so let me just copy this text. So if I paste that text right there, and just close that. If I paste text, so that's the text. If I say start, I get one letter at a time of the text. So I'm kind of helping this my brother to learn how to like read specific words. But you can go back, right? Now this is thanks to JavaScript. Without, and that DOM, that this class would basically teach you how to do this. Without this, we won't be able to do this, right? You can't make it dynamic. And to look at, and now let's actually see the code and see what happens, right? So this is our code, right? I think it is big enough for you to see. Great. So as you can see, we have the body, right? We have a button, so you can create like an action, a JavaScript function that runs once you click on something specific. This one basically, see, and can you see how it changes? I am adding and removing a class as I click this. See that? That is super powerful actually. And this is a script that I wrote. So this, I gotten certain things. I have this word. So this is a JavaScript code. Like you can like actually, this is what happens when you click previous, right? When you click next, when you say start over, targeting class, we will learn all of this. But that is the power of this course, and that's what we will be learning. So see you in the next.